Well, welcome everyone to Off the Record. Great today to have with us the very famous and magnificent Boss Frog himself, Andy Gourley. Welcome, Andy.
Thanks, mate.
Great
Honoured to be here.
You're a good
on
man.
the record.
Off the record, and on the record at the same time. So, speaking of records, mate, what would your favourite record be?
Yeah, favourite record. Well, back in the day with the old LPs, mate, I reckon a bit of Midnight Oil 10-1 with the fold-out cover and the old Red Sails in the Sunset, mate, were my two favourite records.
Nice.
On the old school vinyl.
Yep.
Love the vinyl.
I can imagine you doing the Peter Garrett regularly.
Yeah, mate, I had my own ball cap,
Yep.
skin cap, and had the whole dancing going routine, throw in the washing type dancing.
Yes.
It was awesome, mate.
The world is lucky that Instagram didn't exist back in your teenage years.
Oh, mate, I reckon I'm so thankful. I would hate to live in this era.
The bedroom Peter Garrett dancing would have been...
No, it was definitely parties, mate. Parties that came out. But it was good to see the old boys have a run 2 years ago. Did the tour with the Oils.
They did well.
It was awesome, mate. Alice Springs, Coranda, Big Pineapple and Brizzy got sent 4 times, mate. So big fan, big fan.
He's definitely a big fan. For me, my two got to be. It's a cliche, but Michael Jackson Thriller had to be the two albums. The first album I had, and the second one, The Boss, Born in the USA.
Wow, mate, two classics.
Two classics, yeah.
Two classics.
Can't get enough of The Boss and Jacko. I mean, look, it was pre adjustments to Thriller.
Yeah.
That's back when he was in his former glory.
You didn't borrow Dwayne Potter's ABBA album with the blue and pink inserts, or
No, I didn't. But yes, he
and
certainly
Kylie
suits the
Minogue.
other.
He's the early years.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, on to serious matters. How's the cabin flavour in the Gourley household?
Yeah, look, we really get on as a family, and we love games. So we've been smashing the back deck's turned into games thing, and we got Risk out, old school Risk.
Wow.
And my boy
On the board.
board game Risk, and playing heaps of up and down the river cards, 500. Also Mexican train dominoes, smashing that out. That's been heaps of fun. But my boys have dominated me with Risk. They take me out first, and then they just laugh. So I've trained them too well.
Yes,
too well
you have trained up serious competitors.
Good gamers,
Yes.
good gamers.
Just a message to Josh out there. Looking forward to crushing you at whatever we play next up in Noosa. But yeah, look, it's great to get out, in this season. And look, tell me, how are you connecting with people at the moment beyond your family?
Yeah, look, it's definitely challenging being an extrovert. You can get some cabin fever in being sort of cooped up a bit, but I've just had to adjust with obviously exercise. You can still do that, and golf at the moment you can go out in pairs. And for me, golf is perfect social distancing, mate. I'm never anywhere near the fairway, so you'll be nowhere near me if you could play golf with me.
And exercise, because you do triple the distance of the course.
Triple the distance, absolutely. So that's been great to catch up with a lot of mates and fellas that I hadn't caught up with in ages, and doing some rounds of golf with them. So I'm doing that a couple of times a week. But then also online too, playing chess. Online chess.com.
Yeah, right.
So I've got about 5 games on the go at the moment to, again, a whole group of fellas. I haven't through the business of life, you never get a chance to.
Yeah.
You're so busy, you just don't have the margins to connect with others. And then through online Risk too, smashing that out as well. So yeah, it's been amazing to have a bit of extra time to do things with people. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. One of the things we're doing at the moment as a church is we're reading the Bible through in the year, and so I'll ask you in a second just about any scriptures that you're sort of that you're just ruminating about at the moment. But for us as a church, we've been buried in Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, and Deuteronomy, and some of it's amazing to when you take the time to read some of those more difficult books of the Bible, how God speaks to you about about worship and about how serious He holds covenant and all those sorts of things. Been doing wonders for me. What about you? What have you been reading?
Yeah, look, it's more the revelation around things you might have read for years and years, but it's more so how brightly they shine right now. And what's shining to me is Matthew 20:28, where Jesus didn't come to be served, and it's all about me and my world and my issues and my problems, but he came to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. And I think as the church, it's one of the best times to be a light, to serve. There's so much need at the moment. There's a lot of, people struggling with lack of jobs and just the basic necessities. And I just love what your church is doing too, Josh, it's an honour coming in here today, seeing the food bank, just non-stop people coming in and out. And apparently you got drive-through hampers. Is that true?
That's right, yeah.
Drive-through, instead of not the drive-through McDonald's, drive-through.
That's right. Wednesdays
hampers.
and Fridays, you can drive through, don't even get out of your car and grab a hamper, and we'll put it in your boot. It's all systems go.
How good. And that's the same with our church in Brisbane, and our City Point Marketplace, massive warehouse out in Inala is just non-stop with food hampers and helping people. And just you had a mate that lost his job, and his wife lost his job, and so we just went around and you feel helpless sometimes. You don't know what to do, but just as a little thing to do, we just grabbed the biggest food hamper we could with cold goods and canned goods and fresh fruit, and just dropped it over to their place saying, hey, we're just with you at this time. And so I think to love on a generation, there's never been a greater time to be out doing those practical acts of service, helping people practically. That's what bounces to me at the moment.
And are you a hugger? Were you a hugger pre this?
Not 100%. No, I'm sort of semi there. I'm not an anti-hugger. I'm anti. But I'm not a hugger. Not one of those people. But I approach huggers, and their instant reaction is to come at you. So you got to get the evasion, techniques going. 1.5.
Because we've got our team hugger in Noosa, who you would know as Luke Brundle. And,
serial hugger.
Yes,
serial hugger.
He's looking at starting a campaign with some T-shirts called "Bring Back the Hug," and because
so good.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Dealing with intimacy is not a word that men like to use too often, and I just shuddered when I said it out loud then. But the reality is, interaction is so good, and finding those ways to do it. So it's great to hear some of those things that you're doing online and golf, and exercise is a great one, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Just going for walks or runs to people. Don't try to sit down on a bench, obviously, because they're pretty much all roped off anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
So let's step out of this season for a moment and into this generation. Tell me, as you're on the front line when it comes to this generation that's coming through. Those people between 17 and 25, I'm guessing predominantly, plus other events like sports and that. But what advice would you have to the church community on our responsibility to reach into this generation, and how we can add value to them without telling them off all the time?
Yeah, we've got to break down the generation gaps because of the quickness of technology and culture change. It can develop bigger gaps quicker, and there's so much wealth in the role of the grandfather to the father to the mother to the children to the spouses, and even generational gaps and seasonal gaps between a young single to a young engaged to a young married to a young family to an older family. There's learning processes, and in tribal culture, you're around community, you're around the generation gap isn't there. You're learning what the next levels are, and quite often there's these huge cliffs you face where you come to a change point in life and you go, how do I do this? How do I navigate that? Because I've seen no role models. The role models have been absent. I haven't seen what it is to be successful at being a young family, being successful in a married life. And, you need role models around you.
Yeah,
So I
good.
think being available is the biggest thing. Just to be available to this next generation coming through is so important, and to at all different levels. And I just really take my hat off to people that run youth ministries and children's work, and just investing into that generation is so important. But I think one of the biggest things on what this generation needs is just for us to be available in whatever stage of life we're in. You have something to give. You have something to contribute. Even we got some classic old froggers down in Macquarie, down in Sydney, and they are part of our university work down there, where we do preload pancakes on their Wednesday nights before they go out and the drink, and everyone pre-drinks on college and tries to fuel up before they go up. We have these grandma and granddad come down and cook up the pancakes.
Nice.
And then we have like 8 froggers out in front serving, but the students bypass the 8 young, good-looking froggers straight to grandma and granddad.
Real.
Just wanting that, while they're living on resident college, just their own frogger granddad or frogger grandma. And it is not an age thing; it's a heart thing, and we just need to be more available, I think.
Yeah, and it's brilliant to see. You see young people drawn to father figures and grandfather and grandmother figures as well, don't you? Because we're all looking for a father, and in essence, we're all looking for the father, aren't we? And obviously that's a great. And tell me about this? How do you worship at home now in the modern? We've got, you've got Aaron and Beck on the TV leading you in worship. What do you do? Do you stand up, and does the whole family stand up and put their hands in the air, or you're sitting back on the couch having a cup of tea, nodding? Yes, that's a good worship. What's your style?
Yeah, look, I must admit, it's really a great experience, to be quite honest, to enjoy that worship service as a family in your home. Christine, my wife, is the lead singer, and we sort of just slowly sort of sneak up with supporting her. And everyone just sits down on the couch, loving it, just chilling. And I must admit, there has been the odd bowl of Nutri-Grain consumed during a service, but it's so cool that you can. It's just so cool that it's such a unique experience, and just to enjoy it. And then I've loved the online chat too, as the messages are coming forth. People are chucking, oh, that's a great thing there, da-da-da. And just the chat you have with people, where you normally can't do that during a church service. You can chat about what's being said, comment on it. It's unreal. So I think there's a lot of really cool things that are happening now. And as a family, it's just, it's good fun. But Chrissy's the lead singer in our household. Yep. Just so the glass doesn't break in our house if I start letting loose,
Ours is the same, and Kristen cannot worship without standing up. So she stands up, and I stand up, and I'm a metre away from the TV, and it's, it just seems super awkward. So I prefer to just, in a very worshipful, soaking moment on the couch, absorb it and sing along with the guys. But isn't it interesting how an environment shift, how much you learn about yourself? And that's what I'm asking people at the moment regularly, is what have you learned about yourself? Was your tendency to just dive into survival mode straight away, or were you a bit cavalier and you wanted to balk all the new isolation rules and all those sorts of things? It's a great highlighter of where our faith resides. Are you seeing that sort of thing as well?
Yeah, look, it's definitely being an extrovert. It's definitely a more challenging season for our breed, because we're like ADD on wanting to get out and do things. But at the same time, I've enjoyed the rest. I've enjoyed the time with the family. I've enjoyed just that quality time as well. So there's some real pluses and minuses in this season. But again, it just really, I think it just strips back stuff and you analyze what's important to you. What are the real important things in life? It's not the stuff around us, but it's people and relationships. So I think, in the strip back season, it's looking at what's really important.
Yeah, it's very good, isn't it? Look, mate, it's been amazing having you with us. Hey, we're so blessed every time you come up. It's great to invite you here where when there's no one else taking all your time, so I can just have you all to myself, mate.
Mate,
Fantastic.
it was so good to get a car park easy this morning. There were toilet paper left in the toilets.
That's right.
Mate, I could get a seat. It was excellent. Like such a great ability to be here.
Yeah, you're a good man. All right, let's all thank Andy for coming tonight. Well done. See you next time, everybody. Have a great week.